Let's get into the good stuff. This is where all the clickbaiters is ready to clip. Let's get into the good stuff. Last week I had an exchange online with Stephen A, where he was vocal about what he thought I needed to do, and he also said some other things. So let's watch it together on stream chat. We can react to it together. This is just we're just doing some investigative journalism. This is what one of the clips that was going viral from our exchange. This was his response.
On Jaylen Brown's program. You know where Jayson Tatum was?
Let's start it over.
That Jayson Tatum hasn't appeared on Jaylen Brown's program.
Okay.
You know where Jayson Tatum was? Right here on First Take.
Let's pause right there. What type of journalism is this? Jayson Tatum hasn't been on my stream, and this is what we're talking about on First Take? What if JT just don't like being somewhere in an uncontrolled environment? Why are you doing journalism on me having guests on my stream? And this is a part of the reason why I started streaming. This is a part of the reason why people use the term clown, and it synchronizes with someone like Stephen A. Smith. Because this is what you're using your platform for. What are you talking about? Let's continue.
Jayson Tatum, so in other words, Jaylen Brown, Jayson Tatum showed up on First Take before he showed up on your damn show.
What does that have to do with anything? What? This is journalism? This is why I started streaming, chat. What does that have to do with basketball? What does it have to do with performance? What does that have to do with anything relative to like the game? You know what I mean? It doesn't. And this is where, why people call him out, because he uses his platform and his nature. And his nature can be, this causes issues.
This is stuff that's just flying over your head. You think nobody notices that hasn't happened? You're saying it's the year that Jayson Tatum was down with an Achilles tear is your favorite year? The year that Jayson Tatum had to sit out, this closeout game 7 because of the injury he incurred against.
What's up, Jess?
Can y'all hear it?
I turned it up. I can hear it. Here, ready? Pull.
That's your favorite year? The year?
I think they might be able to hear it better now.
Pull this up a little bit.
Which one?
At top, yeah, go this way. Keep going, try there. Yeah, let's see now.
That you lose 3-1. Of all the stars in the history of the Boston Celtics, you the only one because you were driving a bus. Ain't nobody pointing to Jayson Tatum. He was sitting. Right. He was sitting. He was in street clothes. You the only one. The only star in the history of the Boston Celtics that ever lost a 3-1 lead and surrendered it, and that's your favorite year. Why? Because you and your teammates developed better chemistry and camaraderie? You understand what I'm saying? Because you overcame adversity?
See, this is where I gotta pause again. See, this is a narrative that he's creating. This is in journalism. This is him making his own opinion and formalizing it about what I had to say on his platform. And this is why, respectfully, a lot of people say, fuck Stephen A. Because this is the type of stuff he does, and then he doesn't recognize it. But he's creating a narrative saying that the reason why I'm saying that I had my favorite season is because selfishly I had a best performing year. Not the fact that we outproved expectations, not the fact that everybody expected us to be nothing and we had to fight and we showed up and we competed every single day and we had to fight for every victory. Not the joy of watching our teammates grow, or not the joy of watching guys who are unproven start to solidify themselves as well through leadership, through chemistry. Like, he maybe not doesn't understand that because maybe he's never had to fight for nothing in his life. Maybe anytime adversity is hit, he's rolled over or he's gave in. So he thinks it's the same thing as somebody who has little to no expectation and they stood up and they made a name for themselves. He may not understand that concept, and that's why he's pushing his narrative. But once again, this is what Stephen A. is using his platform for. Let's see what he finishes with.
What happens? What's the remedy? Given all these things you're pointing out, I'm with you. But that's why I brought up the whole trade thing again. What are you going to do about it?
I don't mind. But what I'm saying is the first order of business is that he needs to be quiet and like big.
Let me stop right there. Did he just say I needed to be quiet? Be quiet for who? Man, fuck Stephen A. Stephen A, Stephen B, Stephen C. Like, my offer still stands. You want me to be quiet and stop streaming? Well, I want you to be quiet and get off these networks, because you're not using your platform to do real journalism. You're using your platform to use clickbait, using your